Oh, okay. I need to turn on the lights. There we go. That's better. Alrighty. So today or earlier today, it's like most of yesterday. Let's put it that way. Most of yesterday was down and out. Um, it's weird, but when I woke up, I found that one of my mentors actually fucking died. So that wasn't cool. Uh, Not really a good thing to wake up to, but that's exactly how I woke up, and I felt like shit since. Trine, thank you. Um, I was able to just make one video, and then that's that. Uh, make use of the time, but yeah, after that, I felt like shit. Well, I did go live uh, just to see who was on at around that time because that's still something that I am trying to organize. Today I have to wash or clean some gear that I took with me last time. So that's a task that I have to be doing. Hey, what's up? Good morning, Keen. Oh yeah, what's up, Brett? Like I don't know. I was rambling, guys. I didn't know anyone was around. So yeah, kind of sucks because last night just before I went online, actually, I found out that one of my mentors actually freaking passed away. Um, Man, that sucks, man. Holy shit. Like, this is one guy who, especially for my fly fishing, I grew up watching him when I was like a kid. In fact, I would go as far as to say that it was because of him that I really forced my dad to get cable, so that we had ESPN and that I could watch his show. At that point, obviously, he was just a guy on TV. And then when I moved to Dubai, when I picked up fly fishing, I started corresponding with him. As I said in the community post, right? Corresponded with him until, yeah, you know. So I corresponded with him until he finally got tired of just sending emails and stuff. And I found out that he wasn't much of a tech guy. So he gave me his cell phone number, and then we started talking on the cell phone. And then he said, there was one time I couldn't reach him, and then he goes like, you know what, the signal's not too good here. Here's my home office number. So whenever I had like a fly fishing question, or uh, light tackle question, um, he would be the guy to answer it, and by default, he would be the guy I would call. And funny thing, in my live with Gary, I was showing Gary like his contact on my phone, and I misdialed the number, and I should have just let it ring and have him answer, and then that would have been my last conversation with him. But or at least just to say hi and stuff. But I didn't because I didn't want to disturb the guy. And then like yesterday, I think I was either live or what was I doing like the other day. I think I was live for a long time actually. Yeah. And then I ended the stream and then went to bed. I woke up at like 10:30 at night, and that's when I went live and spoke to you guys, and then that's when I found out as well. So man, that sucks, man. Yeah. Anyway, so ah, like the legends are going. This is the time of my life where the legends are going. It's nuts. Um, Jesus, it's not cool. You know, it is not cool. It's so weird too because you know that they're getting old. It's just that you know you're thinking that they would live on forever. Anyway, uh, and this is also one of the reasons why I really want to go on these trips so that I could meet as much of you guys as possible. You know, going around, doing seminars, actually seeing and meeting you guys. Um, and you know, this guy Flip, his name is Flip, right? Flip Palette. And I watched him in the Walker's K Chronicles, and that was like a big thing for me. Um, Big enough that I convinced my dad for cable, and you know it wasn't cheap at that point in the Philippines and stuff. Cable and internet, you know. So convinced my dad to get uh, cable just so I would be able to watch Flip on ESPN. So watching him growing up, seeing like fly fishing, it was so alien and stuff. Light tackle fishing was kind of like so alien. I mean, my dad actually didn't really understand much when it came to that, and then he would actually say, "Why is he using such tiny gear on sharks, you know, and big fish on the flats?" And that's basically what gave me like this, I mean, like imagine when you're a kid and you didn't know any of these things, and then you watch TV and see this guy. You're watching this guy pull out a really big fish um, on really shallow water. It was strange, you know. And then a few years later, to be doing all these things on your own, that's freaking cool. Because in the Philippines, although we have flats, we don't have fish in them, you know. Um, and then when I moved here, uh, then I discovered that there are places with flats, and later on, I found out like holy shit, there's fish in them. So that was something, you know. And then being able to do exactly as how w- like what he was doing, you know, fly fishing and light tackle fishing. uh, Man, that was something, you know. So I told all of this, I told him all of this obviously in the course of our conversations and stuff, and you know, anyway, um, he's one of those guys that influenced me into like sharing, because earlier on I didn't want to share, you know, but then looking back at how I learned, and then there were actually a few people telling me that hey, you should actually share what you learn. um, even my wife, and then this really good friend of mine, you know, they literally convinced me earlier on. This is why the my first channel was created like pre 2012 or something like that, with the intention of actually sharing, but I just didn't because I thought I was not good enough, you know. And I said like, well, you know, there are these guys, because I learned from some of the best in the world, like literally someone like Flip, right? So he was around. I mean, I was asking myself like, how could I measure up to someone like him, like share, you know, share what I've learned. And then yeah, here we are a few years later, right? When I had the job with Rapala, I actually, you know, one of the first people that I actually called and reached out to was was Flip, and told him like, "Hey, Flip, check it. You know, guess what happened?" So yeah, man, that's so bad. I mean, uh, um, he's gonna be fishing with Lefty and Jose up there for sure. Man, Brett, that's just KIT. KITT is the car. Night Industries 2000. I'm just like kit, like toolkit. Ah, Big Oof. Which one? Which one were you watching? Uh, anyway, I have a few hours to kill before I pick up my daughter, and just thought I'd actually go online to see who was on. I'm still trying to figure out. Obviously, I'm still trying to figure out scheduling and all that. We might have a speaker this weekend, although I don't know exactly what his, or maybe next weekend. I'm not really too sure exactly when he's gonna be free, but also good news. Peter Pakula just got out of his injury. So before I forget, I'm gonna message him actually and ask him when he wants to do this live thing. And be nice to talk to him actually. He's the only one left, Peter. He's the only one left. So, you know, um, okay, let's message this guy, Peter Bakula. Are you ID? Alrighty. So just hold him. What do you call this? Give me a heads up when he wants, so that I can make an announcement, and then shore jigging series. Oh, okay. Uh, that's still an ongoing thing. YouTuber to streamer. I don't actually see the distinction, Flavio. I see this as just another addition to, like, I've never really called myself a YouTuber actually, or I don't see myself as a streamer. Um, you know, like, this platform has been educational, I guess. Uh, I mean, I don't know how you guys see it, but that's something that I'm looking at. So what we're trying to figure out here is the nominal time where there are a lot of viewers. So far, I've identified two time zones, right? So I'm trying to log in different times of the day to actually determine, and then from there I'd be able to formulate, so that when I'm doing the interviews, I would be able to put it in approximately whatever time. So ideally, there would be a time that's good for the US, a time that's good for Asia, Australia, and the time that's also good for Europe. So if I figure out a balance between that, so that I would be able to hit the audience at the right time at a certain time of day, then I would be able to just stream and do interviews at that particular time. That way, a majority of you would be able to, tune in and watch live. Okay, weird. Uh, Apparently, one testicle in the US is is sold at $175,000, or about 10 million pesos. Ah, gear question. Thoughts on the JMPE2 monster game as a slow pitch reel? It's heavy. It's fucking heavy. Setting cost aside, is there a better option for shallow water PE2 or 2.5 reel? 2 PE2 reel L30. So what makes the other option better? It's lighter. Lighter reels are more sensitive. And uh, what the Studio Ocean Mark L30 OGM is literally the best reel you can own for PE2 slow jigging. There's no better reel. Like, there are others, that are also Japanese made and everything, but uh, the let me get mine and then I'll show you, because it's really a beast. Here we go. You can Google it if you want. Okay, so this is an L30 OGM from Studio Ocean Mark. It is really small. I have small hands. Okay, uh, very very light. Okay, I mean, we can look online what the specs are and everything. But as far as drag performance is concerned, especially when with damaged light or damaged leaders, you cannot find a better reel. Uh, very light, quite strong. Okay, and man, I mean, even in Japan, when I was talking to KD, and well, he's no pushover. KD is a lure designer. What do you call it? He owned like a company that makes lures, right? And bought out by Rapala. When I mentioned Studio Ocean Mark, he literally just said like, well, it's the best. So not just my opinion, but compared to Jigging Master, man, Jigging Master is like, I'm not gonna say anything bad, okay? But compared to Jigging Master, this is like a toy. 400 grams for this? I don't think it's 400 grams, man. OGM, like, no, it's not all weight. It's like super. It's very powerful, you know. It's tiny, but um, for slow jigging, sensitivity is actually quite high up on the scale, I would say. Obviously, it's lighter when you're working it. It makes you last longer. You don't really fight the gear and stuff. It's it's just better engineering too. I mean, it's made in China versus, you know, this is some parts of it's Korea, some parts of it's Japan. I can't really say as far as, like, uh, but man, I mean, I might be biased, but still, it's something. Okay, L30 is 380 grams. 380. It's not 400. It's 380. In location that are very snaggy, they use a single assist hook on slow jigs. Oh yeah, um, lesser points, lesser snags. Yes, Flavio. Um, I think one of the things that you need to look at is like, I mean, one of the things that I actually like about Studio Ocean Mark is the modularity, and I think a lot of people don't use it, which, I mean, they should, right? So the modularity, meaning it's so easy to actually take the spool off, and believe it or not, it has saved a trip or two for me, because I snagged, lost a lot of line, um, and then I just took off the spool, put in a new one, and that saved the trip. What was the alternative? Sit down and wait for everyone to finish, you know. So like, stupid. I didn't bring a backup reel, but I did bring a spool, and then it did save the trip. So, you know, little stuff like that matters. Yeah, but here's the thing: if I had an Osha jigger, right, I wouldn't. But with the Studio Ocean Mark, the spool is very. It has a pouch. You put it in your bag. It's done. And then the thing is, when you take out the screws, they don't fall, and there are no parts that could, like, spring all over the place. All you have to do is just take off the screws, take out the spool, put put another spool in, tighten it, boom, slap it back, you're done. So as far as the modularity is concerned, it's like a really really big win, and not a lot of people actually take advantage of that. Now, if it was an OSHA jigger, you know, I'd be very fucking scared, man. You know, take off, the screws are all over, springs flying off, and no. But with this one, everything's contained. So JM is not like that. You know, the Ota Garage model also, by the way, and this is something that a lot of people don't know. Um, See this? Okay, so the spool actually engages. Um, so the original, okay, because this function predates the, what do you call this? The slow fall lever of Shimano. Okay, but that already has the function, you know, the, built in a long time ago. So you'll see that before the minimum, there's actually lines that tells you that you can increase it. So for a lot of people that even own the OGM model, they don't know that the function is there. So, you know, literally, I could just do that, and I have my fall lever. Another of the functions that is not fully emphasized, but it has that function as well. That's a nice option. Having the spare spool, I pulled my specs from the salty water tackle site, so it might not be accurate. Uh, the Okay, I'll show you exactly where I got the, what do you call this, the spec. Okay, so uh, it's right there. So it's in the Ocean Studio Ocean Mark. What do you call this website? It's the OGM Blue Heaven. Okay, now if we look at the silver OGM, it might be different, right? Because the this one, the OGM, it's the highest tier. So if you're looking at the specs of the silver one, then it might be different. And yeah, 410. Oh no, that's a AE85. Yeah. So 410, it's heavier. This one is actually the lightest version. It has titanium parts and all that crap. So for Blue Heaven L30, the ordinary one, you're looking at 410. And then for the OGM model, which is like what I have here, that's the 380. But you know, apples to apples and everything, because the JM, if you're looking at it, it's like yeah, the silver one is a bit heavier. Um, I think I really used my fall lever like twice in my FK. Yeah, man. Like I tell people this actually, Flavio, that F custom, it's a waste of money. You know, buy the silver one. It's lighter because the F custom is actually heavier. You know, so it makes no sense at all. I'd rather actually buy the silver model, and then that's that. You know, for me, the fall lever was like something that you don't. I mean, you know, you have your finger here in the trigger, okay, and you have it on top, and you can manipulate the spool using that. For this one, since it's inbuilt because of the cam, right, it's a bit, it makes much more sense, and it doesn't actually increase the weight. So, but even that isn't original. You know what I mean? It's not the first time that Shimano actually took something from Studio Ocean Mark. The radiator for the spools came from Studio Ocean Mark as well. They just put a new twist on it on their own so that they don't get hit by the patent. But I mean, you know, it's been there forever since this generation um, OGM was introduced, and it predates the fall lever reels. How much line in length would you recommend for jigging and casting up to 40 meters? Depth 2 days of fishing. Huh? What? Like it depends on your reel, right? I mean, like take for example, if your reel can take up to 600 meters, like fill it up with 600 meters. That way, what happens is that even if you get cut, you still have like, a long length. Uh, Otherwise, bring a spare spool. So, and it doesn't matter if you're casting or jigging. Oh, well, if you want it on the raffle, man, come on. It's basically free, right? But tell you what, even if I could get that reel free, I didn't even ask for it. And another thing is like the 2500 LD. It makes no sense to me. That reel does not make sense, because if you're making a lever drag reel, you can engineer it so it uses fewer parts, right? So it doesn't make sense that like a 2500 reel, which is just a wider version of a 2000, is like super heavy, like way heavier than a 2000 was. It made no sense. And a little bit of the width and then fewer parts would actually mean a lighter reel. But Shimano, they made it heavy, so I don't know, that to me that reel doesn't make sense. So such a waste, such a waste, and yeah, man, I mean, what can I say? Like, there's and still it's a standard, because guess what, if you think about it, um it's sold for a set price. Any more than what you're paying for like those reels, and then you start looking at reels such as the Studio Ocean Mark, and then that's when these things actually kind of make sense. um so yeah, I mean, that's that. uh Jigging Masters and Maxells, okay, they're out of the same factory pretty much. And I mean, these are tough reels, okay, don't get me wrong, but I think they're more of fast jigging reels than they are slow jigging reels. A and B, um I think they're better reels. If I was to choose between a Jigging Master and a Shimano, there's no reason for me to actually choose a Jigging Master. you know and guess what, I'm the guy who brought Maxell into the Middle East, so I'm not saying that these are bad reels. There is a market for them, people are buying them. um, but if for me personally I get to choose either those reels or a Shimano, I would always choose a Shimano. um, they're a bit more reliable. um, I would say that as far as the engineering is concerned, you're actually comparing, like in the case of the OSHA jigger, right? Comparing that to jigging master, you're comparing Chinese engineering versus Japanese engineering. I'd go with the Japanese engineering any day. At the end of the day, they all have their own audience. It really depends on the person. But for slow jigging, let's say, or even fast jigging, um, I would choose Japanese, and I have. I mean, it's not as if I can't get these reels, right? I mean, um, I think either the shop or from the brand itself, I could literally ask them for a reel, but I haven't, and I won't. You know, it's just that whenever I have I don't like to get stuff just for the sake of having, and I don't want to have people see me use stuff that I don't stand behind. That's it. So even with the Studio Ocean Mark reels, if I didn't believe in them, I wouldn't be using them in the first place, or much less tell people that you know they're good. If they're not good, I'm not going to use them. Like take for example, uh, for my L50, right? um, I'm actually using a Z Japan as opposed to an OGM, and it stays that way. because for the L50, I'm using um, still PE2, but I'm using heavier leaders, right? And it's cork versus OGM, cork versus carbon. And for the L50 slow jigging, I like the carbon more than the cork because my leaders are heavier, so I can actually pressure the fish more. uh so yeah, that's it. I mean, I guess it's a preference thing, but at the end of the day, um it has a lot to do with how aggressive you can be, right? With your SOM reels, are you keeping the cork drags or replacing them with carbon? For the OGMs, I don't replace the drags. Okay, the only reel that I replace the drags to would be the L50 that what's up, Ron? I uh I Frankenstein. So there's an L50, a silver one that I Frankenstein, and it's so funny because SOM gave me permission to actually Frankenstein it. Let me get it. It's so funny. It's so funny. So this one I Frankenstein, right? Uh, it used to be HG, and then oh, funny thing. Okay, so I put this on the rod, right, and I forgot to secure the line, and yeah, while the boat was moving, the line was paying out, and then before you know it, it didn't have line left anymore. That was dumb. But anyway, so this one is, as you can see, the HG right there, and I put an X on this one and put the picture online. And the president of SOM liked it, and he knew the joke because it's an HG, but the pinion gear and the main gear uh, is for a PG. So this is actually a slow speed reel now, and they literally helped me Frankenstein this. And one of the things that actually done is to also ask carbon drag washers for these. So this one is kind of, well, it's modified. So the drag on this is already and the drag plate, because they sent me a drag plate as well. So stainless steel drag plate. Um, what do you call this? Instead of aluminum, and then carbon drags, and the pinion and main gear have been changed to a low speed reel, and this is my fast jigging reel. So I pair this with I think it's a major craft rod. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've done with that reel. But all the rest, they're like especially these, um, they have cork drags. G54, I believe they call it. Ron, why are you tuned in when you're still at work? No, no, no bueno, dude. Thanks, thanks, thanks. Um, Jonathan, are you interested in Studio Ocean Mark Reel? Is that why you're asking all these questions? I mean, it's a commitment, dude. All right, they're not cheap, as you could have seen in the websites that you're checking out. Salty Water Tackle is one of the authorized distributors there in the states. So you know their prices, or the price for a Studio Ocean Mark reel, is not cheap at all, and it's a commitment. It's a commitment. Now, as far as these reels are concerned, um, man, I mean, I've used a lot of reels, and these are good, man. These are just such different animals, and when you get to use one, it's it's very different. And when you're And when you actually get to use one, you'll literally understand why they're that good. But yeah, it's kind of a commitment. It's and there are some people that hate it, right? There are. It's just maybe, I don't know. Maybe they're biased, or they're just buying it for the sake of saying that it's not good. I don't know. But um man, I don't know, dude. I've used a lot of reels from a lot of brands, so I can only share what I've experienced. As for other people, if you actually really ask them, um, kind of different. So my advice is usually, buy Shimano, buy Daiwa, right? And if you're looking for more, then check out the Studio Ocean Mark. You know, because especially if you have to know how to use the reels. They're certainly not for the crowd that go into the what do you call this, the shoulder to shoulder, uh, what do you call this, head boats, or party boats. I don't think they're actually very efficient if you use them there, because yeah, no, not the environment for that, man. Getting wet for 12, 16 days without maintenance while targeting big tuna and yellowtail, no, you know not the right environment for them. I mean, just not the I'm sure that they actually go through that kind of punishment in like the Japanese boats, but um they're not designed for what do you call this, for environments like that. I mean, um I've punished mine. They've gotten wet, and then after that, obviously, I have to clean them up and all that after the trip. But you know nah, don't, man. I mean, would you actually take your Ferrari out in the mud? you know I don't think it's the right environment for the car like that. And these are like, those types of reels. um they're thoroughbreds more than they are like, what do you call this, horses for carts, so to speak. you know um I wouldn't advise. It's such a, I don't know, man. I mean, like, if you actually have the same trip put in a Japanese setting, right? uh 40 doing dirt stuff, that'll be something. I'm pretty sure Ferrari is quite happy. But when these things are tested, they're tested nonstop in Japan. And there are trips where they hunt for bluefin, and for a whole month they're out on a boat every day, going out and stuff like that in Hokkaido. Okay, and there's a model specifically made for yellowfin tuna, right? Um, Not bluefin, actually, bluefin tuna. And um, yeah, they survive. But I think the environment in party boat is just so different. Would you suggest L30 size for 200 plus PE2, or would L50 be better? L50 would be better, because see, if you snag in 200 plus meters, it's not going to be just 30 meters. So just for the capacity alone, I would use an L50. An L30 would be better if it was like under 200 meters. And that's literally what I use mine for. So up until 200 meters, I would be using, or yeah, up to 200 meters, I'd be using an L30, and I have 600 meters of PE2 on this one. And then I switch to an L50 if we're going deeper. And remember, the spool size is different. So since it's holding much more, your retrieve will be faster on an L50 than it would be on an L30. And that makes a lot of difference because you know when you're reeling, right, and you're pitching, it takes up more line, takes up more slack faster rather than actually being grinding the whole time before it gets tight and then you're able to move. With an L50 you'd be like more, much more smoother. So yeah, but can you use an L30 in water more than 200 meters? Yeah, sure. It's just that you'll be reeling up more, whereas with the L50 it'd be smoother in your movements. That's all. That's really it. That really is it. That's it for that. Now, if you're talking about an L80 though, think about this: L80 and L100 for those types of depths kind of would be better. An L100 is nothing but a wider L80. So if I'm dealing with 200 plus meters, more than likely I'd be grabbing what do you call this, an L50. But if I know that we're actually going over like 400 meters or something like that, then out goes the L100. The L80 I use for fast jigging. So yeah, a wider reel is much more gives you a bit more advantage when it's slow jigging because the retrieve ratio will be faster than a narrow reel, and also your drag is a bit more consistent. The spike on the drag is better on a wider reel. That's why the 2500 was actually a really good idea for slow jigging, but then they made it heavy. So kind of weird. So for me, a 2500, a light 2500 would make so much sense. If Shimano did that, they would have like a very big audience for slow jigging. Because downright, I would actually say like buy that instead of L50 or an L80. But since they made it heavy, then um, nah, nah. Oh man. Um, we have 10 people. It was 14 earlier. So a lot of people are actually jumping in and then moving out. Sorry to bombard you with questions, but being in the States, I don't uh, interact with many people knowledgeable about this gear. It's all good. At the end of the day, I'm kind of like the official English department of Studio Ocean Mark. So ask me any questions. Nice day. What's up? Here we are again. I really love interacting with you guys. That's why I'm like ever since I actually started streaming, because before my streams were so random, right? So I just show up without announcing, and now at least I'm getting into the habit of actually just going online at certain hours just to see exactly how many people are on. But yeah, later on, when I have identified these three time zones that I'm looking at, then I'd be able to structure the interviews for these times. So yeah, and then I would know uh, when to go online or when to stream. So you guys are always around because it's actually fun to what do you call this, to interact. My next question is regarding the Osha Jigger 4000. What's the difference between the older gold versus the new 4000? And which one is better? I used the old gold ones for Wahoo previously. Geez, the sealing, the seals for one on the older Osha jiggers, they were more like Tiagra. No, not Tiagra. Sorry, thoriums. The old gold Osha jiggers. Um, the newer ones, of course, are just made better. On my trip to Seychelles, I'm finishing my selection of casting rods, but I am very unsure on what to take for jigging. Hopefully for GT and doggies. Any recommendation slow? Ooh, geez, man. It really depends, Flavio. There's a lot of what do you call this? There's a lot of choices out there. And it also depends on which okay, Flavio, it really depends on a lot of things. Okay, for slow jigging, there's quite a few choices, but it depends on the style. Okay, so like take for example, if you want to pull back uh, on your uh, fish, um, Takami Technos is good. Garage Nagi is good for the Japanese side. Um, if you want to go Asian, there is quite a few choices as well. There is Zagan. Okay, those are pretty good. I have the 100 Max 100, and I love it. Um, for the lighter stuff, there's Storm, which I have tried out. I think Max 400 is the heaviest that they have at the moment, so that's pretty good as well. And you can pull back on those with good reason, basically. Now, for pure slow jigging, obviously the best is still the best, and that would be the slow jerker. They recently introduced a heavier weight model, although it's limited. So I don't know if you can still get it because it was some time back that they made it available. Deep liner is always a good choice. Beat is also a good choice. The propagate. So yeah, it really depends. As for fast jigging, I would choose either Hots or Nature Boys. So they have really good fast jigging rods. In my experience of what I've used at least. Was wondering if I should go bigger or deeper for the SOM. Wanted to keep the setup light. Found the OG 2000 a bit heavy. How does the 50 compare to the 2000s? Oh, it's very light. Lighter compared to, what do you call this? Lighter compared to the Osha Jigger. Um, let me let me actually get an Osha Jigger 2000, and then let's compare it dry weight. Okay, so I have my scale here. I have a 50, and then let me go get the 2000. Okay, just a second. I'm looking for it here. It's been thrown around since making these videos and stuff. Okay, come on. I know you're here. Stop hiding. Come on, come on. That's an habit. Holy crap in the pants, dude. Where the heck are you? I'm sorry, man. Uh, let's just go online, I guess. That I mean, okay, this one, if I weigh it, it is the silver one at least. Yeah. Uh, take this off because it adds a bit of weight. So this is. I honestly don't know where the. That's why I couldn't find the damn thing. It's here. Here we go. All right. So it is 507 grams. Okay. So the OSHA jigger is about 600. It's 589 versus 508, I think. Was it 507, 508? So this is almost 600 grams, right? 590. Okay, so 590 versus 508. So you're holding like an 80 something gram jig. The 80 grams is a lot, if you ask me. And this is an ordinary L50. So if you go OGM, it's even lighter. Let me get mine. So this is fully spooled, right? Fully spooled OGM. Um, and it's 500, 500, 500 grams. So fully spooled. That one is empty. This one, okay? So fully spooled, it's 500 grams. So uh, let's say almost 100-gram difference between Osha jigger. Well, actually, that's like 80 grams. Let's say 80 grams, 80-gram difference. So um, that's it. Plus, you get a lever drag instead of a star drag, and then you have a lot more capacity than a normal OJ 2000. So that's basically what you're getting. Um, Better handle, I would say. Okay, if you go with something like this, better handle, deeper spool, more capacity, lighter. Those are your main points. Uh, Partnering with seafloor control jam rod 3.5. So was debating whether the 30 or 50 would be better. It depends on what you want. Um, yeah, depends on how deep you're going to. So like take for example for me, I'm mostly fishing 200 meters or less. So L30 is the main, and up to 350 grams of jig. So L30 is the main reel for that sort of work. Any deeper, it'll be an L50. I have slow rods. I have logical prime, Shimano full bend, and rapier. The two SJ. So I'm just not sure what to take. I would take the logical prime uh, and one of the Poseidons. Definitely depends on which range you're fishing. But definitely logical prime and Poseidon. You know, so that would be my choice. The the Shimanos are okay, but you know um, logicals and slow jerkers are like really excellent rods, and I don't think the Shimanos actually can match up to like those. I don't know with how you feel when you're using them, but it doesn't get any more pure than those two, because the slow jerker is literally where all the rods are measured on, and the logical prime is like the best that deep liner has to offer. And that's a direct descendant of the Poseidon as well. So you know and the Shimanos, although they're good and all that, but yeah, I mean, come on, man, it's like you know the rod of the guy who invented and his student versus some guy who actually just followed. So you know they make good reels, right? But as far as the rods are concerned, there are some rods that there are better rods. In this case, that would be it. So logical prime and slow jerkers all the way, man. You have quite a good collection, by the way, Flavio. I thought about the full bend because the solid rod might help with the doggies. But yeah, I love my deep liner. Yeah, deep liners are like um the doggies. Okay, well, largely when you're fighting slow jigging, you're using the reel, not the rod, right? And if I was to target doggies, I'd actually do fast jigging more than I would do slow jigging for them. Um, I only use the slow jig when the fishing's tough, but when the fish are actively biting, I'd use a fast jigging outfit. It's just easier. So I mean, like everyone on our boat is exactly the same. Before we would be using slow jigging equipment for almost all the what do you call this? All the jigging work that we do. But see, the thing is, when the fish are active and you have four hooks flailing around, it becomes pretty dangerous, especially if there's six people doing it at the same time, plus a captain who doesn't fucking listen, right? So our captain has an annoying habit of actually fishing with us. He thinks that it's a good idea to hang out with us, but his job is actually to maneuver the boat. So, you know, um, sometimes what happens when there are multiple hookups, it's not a good thing, right? So I always tell Faisal, like, dude, tell your fucking captain to be a captain instead of fucking hanging out with us because that's not his job. So basically, imagine when you have six people hooked up, three have a fish on the boat on the gaff, and you're putting them on the floor, right? You hook the or you gaff the tuna, you drop it down because you're gonna have to gaff another fish. So that fish has four hooks flying around, and then you have another fish, and that's eight hooks flying around, and then you have another, and that's 12 flying around. Not a good idea. So, when the fish are active, we have actually found also that it's more efficient to use fast jigging gear because you can just put one hook on that, and then if it's on in the fish, if it's in the mouth of the fish, that's just one hook that's in the mouth. It's not gonna, you know, throw the jig and what do you call this, and then accidentally hook someone. So yeah, but I mean, as far as slow jigging is concerned, you're supposed to be you only using them when the fishing's tough. They're not the most ideal ones when the fish are active. Although, yeah, you can just for kicks. I mean, I've done it, right? Uh, but then in times like that, I actually just put like singles at both ends. Um, in Japan, what they've actually been doing is have both hooks, right? But they have the front hook bent in, so you only have the back hook, and with that, you only get the strikes when you give it slack instead when you're actually moving it. So on the fall, they get bit. So yeah, you can still do that, but like what do you call this, the deep liner guy, um you know the guy that you always see in the deep liner stuff, right? um Jeez, man, his name escapes me, but pretty much, yeah, those are the guys that are actually what do you call this, um they bend the hooks in, so there's only one live hook, so to speak. Alrighty, so who else is Jonathan? um you're looking at Higashimura is the owner. No, 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 not him. The old dude. Jeez, man. Um, it's so difficult to remember his name because even if we're friends on Facebook, it's in Japanese. You know. Hold on. Uh, mm, there, Nishimoto. There we go, Nishimoto. Nishimoto. His name is Nishimoto. Yasuo Nishimoto. So whenever you see him, right, uh, check his hooks closely, because if you see him use just two hooks, more than likely one of those hooks would be turned in. So they do that as well. So you can do that. Just avoid if you're using slow jigs in times when the fish are active. But see, the thing is, when the fish are active, using a slow jigging gear would make it difficult to land the fish or to fight it, because you're limited to like pointing the rod to the fish and fighting it like that. So, and you're usually fishing with lighter line. So when the fish are active, for me it makes much more sense to actually have like fast jigs, and it's more fun, really. Just fighting the fish with the force and all that. Yeah, pretty much to maintain the balance. It's to maintain the balance, because not a lot of people know that if you actually put like just one hook on the jig, it doesn't swim correctly, because they're built to actually, like, have their action with two hooks, because the hooks contribute drag, and it basically balances. I mean, you can see it. You take a jig without hooks, you drop it down, it doesn't move right. As soon as you put the assist hooks, they start to move like beautifully. So having two hooks there balances the jig, and only one hook actually is made to hook up. So what they do is curl the hook in. Okay, they have what do you call this, specialized, it's not for sale anymore, unfortunately, but specialized pliers to do that, just to bend the hooks in. um, Sato uses it, and um, Angler Support System actually used to sell them, and now they're not sold anymore. So you have to use your pliers, ordinary pliers, to actually what do you call this, bend them. I suck when fighting the fish. All of the big ones always get away. um Night X, I man, it's a combination of uh efficient use of drag and your rod, plus the understanding on how to use them and make them work together. So if you don't understand how drag works, if you don't understand how that works together with your rod, and also, um geez, man, it's staying calm. That's it. It's staying calm. If you have a budget for only one high-end rod, would you lean towards casting or jigging? Percentage fish them both equally. Uh Hard. A decent rod will cast well. That's true. Jigging, it depends, really. For me, um, I can't choose between casting and jigging. Although jigging would probably be a bit more applicable. Flavio is right, actually. When it comes to jigging, a decent rod with 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 skill, a decent rod would be able to actually accomplish the casting bit. Okay. As far as the jigging is concerned, there's the rod needs to do it right, because the correct jigging rod actually helps you make the jig swim. But if you ask a Japanese guy that, he would probably choose casting, because casting is the highest form of fishing in Japan, right? And that's kind of like what they aspire to, like catching a big fish on casting gear. By the way, guys, I've received um I received a reply from Apia, and they brought some news as well. Um, One of their rods actually caught the biggest bluefin ever caught on rod and reel. At I'll tell you exactly how big. Okay, it's insane. Where is it? It's my other email address. So they emailed me and said like, "Hi Kitsan, thank you very much." Yada da da da. 141 kilos using their World Ocean rod. Uh, but yeah, I mean, the largest and they shared an Instagram post, and you guys should freaking see this picture, man. Holy crap, this fish is actually quite big. I don't know if it's the new IGFA record, but they actually said that I mean, like, look at that fucking thing, dude. 141. And they said that it's bigger than the stand-up record. So, like, holy shit and a half on a spinning rod, right? You guys seeing it? See, Big Oof, rubber bands and balloons are kind of like, what do you call this? Related. They're both rubber. And whenever you're doing some sort of operation, rubbers are always a good thing to have. But yeah, balloons, man. Also quite useful. Also quite useful. Although it's more for suspending stuff, right? And bait fishing. But see, for rubber bands, it's actually well, a lot. You know, uh, yeah. I mean, very useful to do for all sorts of things. Like take for example, a rubber band is very useful as a release clip. Yeah, Flavio, right? Spinning reels and all that, and then bang, here we go. So we might have them. Yes, that rod is actually a light rod. That's correct. It is. That's what makes it special. It is a light rod, dude. It's a, you know, it's a medium heavy casting rod. So quite an achievement because it has a really good lifting power. So the biggest on record is 102. So Grand Age World Ocean. So yeah, pretty good. I got to meet the president. Um, his name is Utsuki. So I met him. So yeah, man. I mean, I've always known Appia was really good. It's just that a lot of people misused it here, so a lot have broken in the past. But they have really good sea bass, and the passion. The guy, the Utsuki, the the guy made the brand because of his love for GT and tuna fishing. That's it, and he can't find the right rod that he wanted. So basically, he just said like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna make my own brand," and that's how Anglers Utopia was actually born, right? So, but yeah, I met this guy, very down to earth, always smiling and stuff. So pretty cool, and his daughter actually, because his daughter's actually working for the company as well. So yeah, down I've actually met these people, and then I think this was yeah, last year or which one was it? It was like Truth. The guy behind Truth. He is the chief rod builder of Ripple Fisher, and he went out on his own. CB1 is actually really good. Good friends of mine as well, and yeah, Truth is actually the main rod builder for Ripple Fisher. So he did his own thing, and now that became Truth. CB1 really good. Also, Faisal used one of their rods to actually catch his personal best tuna. Um, Pricey. but really good rods. Um, but yeah, I mean CB1, it's up there. All these like casting rods, they're like for the Japanese, right? They're the top of the top end. CB1 is certainly up there with them. So yeah. And also, down the line we're also going to have Ipe Watanabe, the field staff of CB1. You'll see him in a lot of these pictures, the guy who's always holding the big fish. So he's a friend of ours. So, I already asked him, if he can actually join us in one of our chats. So I'm gonna be reminding him in the weeks to come, on the schedule. But he's always traveling around, and he has his own thing with apparel and stuff. So kind of busy. But when we catch him, we will actually do an interview, and for sure we'll have him on the fishing chat. He already said yes, so it's just a matter of scheduling. So we'll talk more about fishing and talk more about CB1 with him. Okay, I tried to get Kozo, but he's busy. He's traveling around and stuff. I couldn't really get a schedule, but maybe down the line we'll have him. Um, I'll probably have like an interview with the president of SOM when he comes around January as well. So that's done. Okay, so we'll have him on the show around January, February before the Osaka fishing show because he's coming down to visit, and he's gonna be fishing with us, obviously, doing some stuff. So that's in the works. Uh, Let me see if Peter has actually replied. But Peter is also uh, in the works. Oh, Peter said anytime. Just confirm date and time in Brisbane, Australia. Okay, so we'll have Peter soon. Okay, so we have a confirmation from Peter Pakula. He left it to me to schedule. So let me ask the boys from Australia, what would be a good time? Do worm shaft bearing upgrades make much of a difference? Uh, Flavio, that's a very good question to. That's a very good problem to have. Upgrades on the worm shaft. Uh, I'd rather upgrade the rotor bearing, to tell you honestly, for what do you call this? You know, but yeah, it's worth. I mean, it depends on what kind of upgrade you're looking at. Shimano has their own factory. Shout, they make hooks. Why would you buy rods from them? Bush. Oh, what reel though? Like you guys better meet up there so that you can console yourselves. You know, talk yourselves. Actually, when you're there, you have to talk yourselves out into buying shit instead of actually talking to each other and supporting yourselves into buying stuff. You should actually support yourselves in talking each other out of buying stuff because it's difficult, man. It is fucking difficult. Oh shit. Here we go. Two fishing nerds in a fucking tackle shop. Good luck. Jeez. I don't envy you guys. to tell you honestly, because when I go there, I get confused, you know. Um, and as it is, when I'm here, I go to Barracuda, I see a lot of reels and all that. But see, the difference is I see them every day, right? But if I'm in Japan, you go looking around and like, what the hell? They just have so much. Good time to have Peter Pakula on the, because he said like Brisbane time, right? So what time in Brisbane would it be good? So that I can figure out what time it would be here. And then a lot of guys from Australia and obviously around the world would be able to tune in. I'll be there from the 6th of October to the 6th of November. Wow, for a full month. Okay. Um, okay, I get it now. The worm shaft. For the level wind, right? Yeah, upgrade it. But don't go overboard. Don't go full ceramic, you know. Um, just go with a good quality steel bearing. It make it smoother. It's half work, half vacation. Well, a lot of the stuff in Japan is uh, pretty localized. So this is what I found when I went to Osaka. I couldn't really find the stuff that I wanted because the kind of the stocks that they have in the shops that they have there is pretty localized. That is correct. Singapore has a shitload of JDM stuff. Man, these Singaporeans are actually fucking lucky, man. You know, they have a lot of options for a small place. There's a lot of people in Singapore that actually travel everywhere. So, and a lot of my fishing buddies are actually Singaporean. So if I need something and we're not able to get it in Japan, I would just tell them, like, hey, you know, get me this, and they'd be able to get it for me. Hello, Karim. Tuning in for the first time here. Never been to Japan, but I'm pretty sure I spent more time in Digitaka. Yeah, that is a problem. Yep. So for me, what I do usually is another place is Thailand. So Singapore and Thailand have like a lot of fishing tackle. So for me, I have friends in both places, right? So I would ask them, and then they'll keep it for me. And then when my wife flies over to Singapore or Thailand, I could just have them send it over to the hotel, and my wife brings them in. Otherwise, I'd just tell them to actually send it to my mailbox in Thailand or Singapore, and then I can have it here after a few days. Or we can actually, like, ask one of our friends that fly to Singapore or Thailand to bring them back in. So, kind of easy. That's correct. You'd be surprised that the reels are actually expensive in Japan because of the taxes that they have. Uh, Sometimes it's actually cheaper to buy outside, so you have to check that and check the price. Uh, Feel free to send some tackle over here. Um, there's this guy named Bobong in Cebu. He has tackle that you might want, Soji. For fishing, Tokyo is on the higher price range. That's correct. That is correct. Um, I'd rather get a second suitcase in Tokyo Hands. Tokyo Hands. Like, I love that place, man. They have so much shit. It's like Daiso on steroids. For fishing, uh, the price in Tokyo is more expensive because of the tourists. That's correct. But you have to actually go outside the what do you call this? But I mean, I sent him a list. I sent Flavio a list of tackle shops that are recommended to me by the president of SOM. So we'll see. You know, if it's from him, these places must be good. The time I will be partly in Kyushu and Kansai too, so I'm hoping that I can check out those stores. Um, Hold on, let me see. Uh, he said casting is a big fishing tackle chain, and then he has Bassmate, Maniacs, and Sansui. In Osaka, there's Tackle Ichiban. There are a lot, man. Karim, there are a lot. One I would particularly recommend in the East Coast is Suliman Sport Fishing. They're quite good. What's your favorite condition to fish? Does moon phase matter to you? Early morning was like, Shoji, why are you asking me this when you already have the answer to this? We've discussed this endlessly. I'm not gonna freaking mention it here. Shuhada. And they've been asking the same question for years already. Uh, oh, they don't have tax rebate? Holy crap. I mean, you know, I'll tell you this, Flavio. Whenever I'm in Japan, I'm more interested in buying like some outlier stuff. I've only bought reels in Japan, like a handful of stuff. But mostly what I buy from Japan is like weird shit that I can't buy here. Because rods and reels I can get here, right? Um, and I don't have a problem with that. But it's like, take for example these. Okay, let me get some. Shit. I thought they were in the drawer. I really thought they were in the drawer, but they're not. I don't know where they are. I have to look for them. But like, um, like Tachiguo jig, but the small and light ones. Um, Back in the day, I was given one of these things by a Japanese, a guy working in a Japanese research vessel that actually docked in Cebu, and he saw us fishing for cutlass under the lights of their boat, and the boat was so bright, right, with the lights and everything, and attracted a lot of fish. And every night there'd be a boil around the boat, and the majority of them were cutlass. And he saw me fishing for these guys, and then he called me over, and with his broken English and signed language, he gave me a touch jig. And I lost that jig eventually, and I've been wanting to buy more. So when I went to Japan, I made sure to buy these these Tachiguo jigs. And then also something I cannot get here because a lot of people don't do them are Tenya jigs, right? So there's a shop outside of Osaka. It's like a mom and pop shop, dude. If you want, I could try and look for it, uh, and then I'll send you the what do you call this? But the shop is like literally a mom and pop shop. You go there, they have a lot of stuff that they make instead of and it's so funny because even the street, right? They put like a display on the street. It's literally a mom and pop shop, and I loved it, dude. I walked around buying like hooks from smaller manufacturers, you know nice day. Yeah, man. I mean, like Kenya is big in Singapore. Holy shit, it's big in Singapore. Yeah, but I mean here we don't have tenya because we don't have live squid, live shrimp. So that type of fishing is not practiced here. So I bought some stuff to take. I bought some tenya to take with me, and I've been using them under people's noses. So kind of an advantage on slow days and stuff. Tenya and Thai rubber. So two of those things. They don't really. They used to not use Thai rubber here, but the tenya definitely zero. And it's funny because tenya is one of those that I used to get a sleigh ride. You know, I mean, they cook up and then you get towed around. Tenya always does it for me. Yeah, I mean, I even put soft plastics on my tenya and actually work, right? So yeah, it's do you like the squid tracks there? The second question of that like today. Not particularly. I think there are other jigs that work better. Thai rubber is so productive here, it's absurd. And anywhere, if you actually use Thai rubber correctly, it's very, very productive. Squid dress is effective here in Singapore too. Yeah, but I mean, compared to, I mean, it works, right? There are people that actually, uh, there are people here that actually love squid tracks, but I honestly believe there are better jigs. Depending on the day you want to do it, though, the week about 7 p.m. on the weekend, maybe 3 p.m. Just having a guess. Okay, let me figure something out because I have to get back to him ASAP. But okay, I want a time of day that's also comfortable for him. So I'm gonna adjust. You know what I mean? So what time is it there now? Okay, What time is it in Brisbane? It is 4:42. Okay, so I will actually wake up early in the morning and have have a schedule with him. I'll wake up like 6 a.m. maybe here, so it's in the middle of the day for him there, and the people from the states can tune in. People from Hawaii or something, maybe even 4 a.m. here. I'll do that. People have gotten 50 kg dusky groupers here on PEA Thai rubber. So they're very effective, man. Thai rubber is actually very um, underrated. And by the way, Thai rubber is a Shimano invention. There's a guy in Shimano who actually studied um, in Chico in Chico fishing, and he basically evolved in Chico into Thai rubber, and that's how we have Thai rubber. But definitely that is a Shimano invention. Singapore Tenya brands like Crusader tend to be on the heavy side compared to Japan and use bigger hooks because the current here is quite strong. Yes! And also Japanese, like take for example the Dokan, right? Uh, I mean, the Dokan, it's made for Japan, right? And when it was exported out of what do you call this? When it was exported out of Japan, and I brought it here, and Fred brought it to Singapore. We found that the hooks were actually weak, so we had to modify. Actually, these hooks, the ones that I made into Thai rubber, these are actually something that I would be making assist hooks for Thai rubber as well. And no, I don't have a video on Thai rubber yet. Um, Not planning to for the time being. You know, that's actually pretty straightforward. I do feel that Japanese brand Tenya hooks are small, even though sometimes the fish in Japan are bigger than here. Their thought process that vary greatly when it comes to that because their fish actually nibble on the skirts a lot. And since they have fewer fish, when they're reeling, they're actually waiting for a big one to climb on it. Not like in places in Asia where the fish are more voracious. Like take for example here, we have the target for what do you call this, Tenya. and Thai rubber is actually the Spangled Emperor. And the Spangled Emperor, they're greedy fucks, you know. So, boom. Whereas in Japan, they nibble. A lot of their fish actually nibble and mouth. Fishing pressure also in Japan. Remember, it's very different from everywhere else. Now, even if you think that Singapore has a lot of pressure, imagine the kind of pressure that they're seeing in Japan. You know, remember that you still have vegetarian there with the Indian population, whereas in Japan they're all fish eaters. Think about that, you know. So there's a difference in pressure, and I'm pretty sure they've actually experimented on things, right? But yeah, you're right. The the tenya that you have there definitely, and guess what? Your shit is actually very applicable here. So when I go to Singapore, I do the same thing, right? I go around the shops and then, but hey, nice day. You know where I love going in Singapore? The tackle shops in Changi. Oh man, I love those. I love those places more than the tackle shops that I find in the beach road. You know, I love those little tackle shops there. Like, oh man, I think they have like a lot of really cool stuff. You know, uh, that's right, cheap and good. That's like so Singaporean, man. Cheap and good. So when I go to Singapore, um, I go to those places, and one of the places that I have really fond memories for is Coho. I really love the guys in Coho. So I used to hang out with Henry and Jude, right? And then Pak Amin would be there. Uh, oh man, it's so much fun. I actually miss going to Singapore. Can get away with budget setups from Malaysian and Indo brands. Actually, in Changi, that's where you find them. That's why I really love going to Changi. But yeah, man. I mean, I have so much good memories. If ever you do come to Singapore, let me bring you out. I do fishing charters in Singapore. Oh, really? Sure, man. I mean, whenever I go there, I have a few friends that I usually hang out with, and majority of the time before, what I used to do was to stop over to Singapore on the way back to the Philippines. So, what do you call this? And believe it or not, in our honeymoon, Singapore was a stop, and that was kind of like we made Singapore the hub. So we went to Singapore, and from Singapore we went to Cambodia, back to Singapore, and then to Thailand. You know, that's how my wife actually did that because I love Singapore, man. Um, Charters, not the best. That's so what, man. For me, okay. I don't necessarily go with the best charters. I go with um, the honest people. You know, uh, I think uh, like the realistically, I'd rather go with the people that don't have the biggest egos. You know what I mean? John, if I haven't been to Singapore or Thailand, I just have a better vacation. Oh wow, it depends, man. Thailand has its own fishing scene as well, and they also have a lot of tackle. Um, there's parallels, right? In Singapore, they also have ponds, and then Thailand they also have ponds. So it kind of depends on. Oops, it kind of depends on what you want to do. Singapore is pretty expensive, though. I have to be honest. It's not the cheapest place, man. You know, um, like holy shit, it's you know, um, yeah. If you don't know where to go, it could be very expensive. Really, that's sad, man. Like Pasir Ris is like an institution, and I made it a point to actually fish there in Pasir Ris. Ah, that sucks, dude. That sucks. But Pasir Ris, I really fish there. Better fishing in the Philippines. Ah, I don't know. Philippines is difficult. Oh, really? That sucks. Nice day. Pasir Ris is like an institution, dude. Pasir Ris. Oh man, and yeah, it's salt water, and I won't forget this, because I went there to fool around, so I bought like a long rod, some lures and stuff. So I was uh, Red Sea in Egypt. I heard it was pretty good. I haven't fished, honestly. There's some places that are pretty good. Anyway, so I went to Pasir Ris and with my wife, and this was in our honeymoon. So I was like busy fooling around, and she outfished me. She freaking outfished me, man. Um, where's JB? Where's JB? Joe Bird? Oh, Johor. Jeez. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, some some good fishing across the border. Some good fishing across the border. That's the advantage of Singapore. They can just cross over to Malaysia and actually have good fishing, because there are places in Malaysia that are actually, what do you call this, that are actually protected. But if I'm going to Singapore, having like a Philippine passport, I can actually just cross over to Malaysia and have some fun there as well. And Malaysia's cheaper, when it comes to these things. But accommodation wise, I don't know. But my friends told me, my Singaporean friends actually told me that Malaysia is cheaper when it comes to fishing than Singapore. But I guess it also depends, right? But see, in Singapore, I have to tell you guys, and Nice Day will actually know what I'm talking about. Um, they have a type of ultralight fishing that is just fucking insane. And you know, when I was there, when I was working for Rapala, so I fished with Fred and the gang there, and they showed me how it's done, and it's freaking insane, man. I loved it. In fact, I've been using it here with very very good success. So probably, yeah, sagay fishing, yeah, and it's proven to be very effective on a lot of species here, and it's fucking insane, man. Ah, so they do that now, huh? Well, that's business, man. That's business. But sagay fishing, holy shit, holy shit. And I think this is like a Singaporean invention, and I really think the world should know about it because it's really, really cool. Like ultralight fishing offshore, fishing for jacks. Like really, I was like thousand sized reels, and I was like, okay. I was like, okay, that's weird. What are they going to do with this exactly? And then we were drifting like 3 gram jigs, you know. And then all of a sudden, I was the first one who actually caught on the boat. And then, poof, look, whoa. And I was using spinning tackle at that time. I caught one and I was like so surprised, man. Holy shit, it was so much fun. And then I switched to bait casting tackle, and that was even more fun. So yeah. Wow. So down the line, okay, if I get things sorted out, really, what I want to do is actually go around, and the easiest places to go to for me would be Asia. So I'd be visiting Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, and stuff like that. if I get things sorted out with the brands, you know, and I'd be happy to actually go down there and do seminars and, you know, go fishing and stuff. But yeah, TP 1000 for Sagay. I mean, like, dude, seriously, holy shit, man, it's so much fun. And but I plan to do it here, but with the kayak. So that's gonna be something that I would be doing. 1,000 sized reels, ultralight rods, freaking, what, 100 feet, 27 30 meters, drop a 3 gram jig down or 2.5 gram jig down, like, catch some nice fish, man. Like, it's an ideal way to go fishing. It's an ideal way to fish in the summertime here, when when the water is actually warm, and there's a different type of fish that come in. Also in the winter time, when the fish are less active and all that. So I use this technique um, on a kayak, and boy, it doesn't work. It's like very, very effective, and you still catch like jacks too. So golden trevally, um, and orange spot trebs, only bigger. So, like, it's so much fun. But yeah, I mean, I've caught a lot of species on that technique, and yeah, down the line we'll have it here. The restriction, there's a lot of restrictions in Singapore, dude, and your government is so strict that there's no way around it. That's the problem. And I was told the story of how this Sagay technique actually came about, and it's because of these restrictions of going into the place and all that. So they didn't have a choice but to anchor somewhere close, and then to drift the baits going into the restrictive area, and that's how it was born. Come to Singapore and I'll bring you up to JB and visit the tackle shop. Introduced to some of the local brands. Rods will be amazed. Yeah, Malaysia actually has some pretty good local brands. So with Indonesia, but then you have to sift through a lot. For some reason, all the fish know where the illegal are, and they stay there. Oh yeah, it's the only place where they can find no people harassing them. So yeah, I would what do you call this? I'd actually do that. Yeah, and I know a lot of people that actually go sneaky sneaky. You know, they're brave, dude. But I'm not going to actually. You know, it's so difficult, right? I mean, there's the restrictions, and then there's the punishments and all that. The fines, forget it, dude. I see the fines. It's like 500 sing. I like, no, I'd rather not. But people like, take for example Pak Amin. He doesn't give a fuck, dude. he just he just fishes, you know. Wow, you will lose your boat. They take it, huh? Jeez, man. That's see, um, Flavio. Um, I also heard that in Brazil, it's very difficult to find good spots. You know, because like uh, it's not restriction, but yeah. What's it in Spanish? It's similar word to Spanish, like forbidden. Nice day. Actually, you're right, because even my friends, they said that at one point in time they did something just to see. You know, but unfortunately, if you carry a brand on your shoulders, you can't really do it openly. You know, So a lot of the people that I know there that actually carry brands on their shoulders actually, if if maybe they do it quietly, or they don't do it at all. I don't know what they do, but I know that they go outside of Singapore to actually do their fishing, like all the promotional stuff. You know what I mean? Prohibidao, prohibido. I wouldn't say very difficult, but there's a decent amount of pressure. Yeah, I mean, it's not as if Brazil doesn't have like a big population, big what do you call this? It doesn't. It's not like Brazil doesn't have a big population. It does. So there's considerable amount of pressure. I would understand that. Your sea is rough. That I do not know. You know, but I would be very interested to actually fish there one day. Yeah, man. I mean, if nice day, if you're doing something kind of questionable, rather not post it online. Otherwise, you're just asking for. And you know what? The Singaporean government is actually very um, fast, efficient. The whole reservoir. Yes, yes, I know. They actually said that 20 meters legal to fish. Imagine for the whole population. Just Rompin, man. Um, Rompin Abdul. You know, that's very famous the world over for sailfish. And a lot of my friends actually went there for sailfish. So that's another place I want to visit, Rompin. Drones to catch fishermen. Wow. You know, one of the things that I want to go and do is fish the jungles of Thailand. You know, they have like some type of masir there. You know, that's worth catching. So that's one thing I want to do, and wild toman as well in their lakes. So that's something. Um, I want to go back to Thailand and fish. Actually, I had that chance. I mean, I spoke to my wife and finally decided that I'm not going. You know, because she said that it's her only vacation time, and I said like, you know what? Let's just save the money instead. You know, but in Alcatraz. So I mean, holy crap! There must be a lot of people that force them their way in, huh? For them to actually fly fishing. I have, John. I've caught like some nice fish there on the fly. Oh, Abdul. All right. Yeah, I mean, when just rompin, with the sailfish and all. I think if I want to catch sailfish on a fly, I'd actually fly to Rompin and do that. You know, um, because I want to catch a sailfish on a fly. That's for sure. But it's. I think now I don't know how it is now, but before I know it's possible, and a lot of people actually have done that, right? I don't know how possible that is now, though. But if ever I do that, I would probably do a little bit of research before actually doing it. You guys would know. I'd probably ask you for help as well. But John, fly fishing in Thailand is big. You could actually do a lot of fly fishing in Thailand. I've caught catfish, different types of catfish, including the Asiatic catfish, um, Hemebagros wycoides, and that's rare. The Asian red tail. I've caught the regular red tail from the Amazon there as well. An Arapaima, big barramundi, toman, paku. So yeah, there's some fly fishing that you could do there. And yeah, that's the reason why I got into fly fishing in the first place. It's actually the traveling aspect of it, because it's very easy to travel. Yeah, man. I mean, sailfish on kayak, UL, I wouldn't do that. That's just too much. But fly rod, yeah, definitely. Um, do you ever fish with electric reels deep dropping? No. I don't really like fishing with electric reels, but I have reels I use for deep dropping. Mostly jigs. I don't do bait. You will need to come fly fishing in the Amazon for big peacock. Yes, Flavio, actually. That's one of the things I really like, to do. Peacock bass in the Amazon with a fly rod, definitely, man. Down the line, man, if we get like uh, a lot of people joining on YouTube, maybe that's possible in the future, but I don't know. I don't know how long that would take as well. But yeah, it would be nice. I really want the channel to really grow to a point where it would be able to support my traveling around and fishing, you know, and meeting you guys. I'd really like that. I'd really, really like that. I mean, that's kind of like um, a goal for this channel. And obviously, anywhere I go, it's like taking you guys, because I'd be filming and then I'd meeting some of you, and then showing it here for everyone to see, and then going somewhere else to meet, like, another group. um yeah, and that would be nice, man. I'd love that. um Definitely in the bucket list, like Amazon fishing. Yeah, I've caught peacocks before, right? There's actually a private pond, private lake in the Philippines, and my friends are the ones behind it, right? And they stocked it with peacock, both m- um, monox and temensis. So I've caught both, right? And I've actually caught like a decent size temensis there. And boy, those things are so freaking aggressive. Like especially the monoculus. Holy shit, those things would be like what do you call this? Holy shit. Opening a video chat on your live? How? I don't even know that's possible, man. Hire a fishing videographer. I'd rather do the filming on my own, to tell you honestly. Like on a GoPro, having someone film me, it's weird, dude. A lot of people are doing it, and what I want to do is still have educational value. Because a lot of people are filming themselves, showing people that they're fishing and you're catching and all that, and you don't really learn shit. And for me, that's entertainment more than it is like learning. And these guys, for the most part, if you ask them questions, they kind of don't know what they're, you know. I mean, people in Australia, when they're fishing in places where there's a lot of fish, um, kind of take them anywhere else. They kind of struggle, you know. So kind of like for me, um, I mean, that's their style, and obviously, it's actually working on YouTube. But I don't want to go that path because, you know, um, I'd rather okay. Here's what I want. Okay, here's what I want. What I want is for you guys to be those YouTube channels that people watch. There we go. So for me, it would take um, it would give me so much joy and happiness if one of you guys actually start a YouTube channel and then you become the stars. And then what I have shared with you is like the same thing that you're doing, and then you're actually spreading the word. So for me, that that would give me the biggest joy, seeing that you guys are succeeding out there. Okay, because at the end of the day, um, that's what that's the kind of thing that I want to happen. Instead of, like, people watching me and be entertained by what I'm doing. I'm just a guy who actually shows what I do, what I've experienced, and sharing with you guys. And then, it's up to you guys to do whatever it is that you want to do with it, right? So if you become like YouTube stars and stuff like that, hey, great, you know. Um, but for me to actually do the same thing that these guys are doing, nah, not my style, man. The educational, nice. I've I know exactly what you mean. And then Kareem says the educational value in your videos and match. Pop off though. We're going to need some cliche content. Yeah, yeah. I mean, what do you call this? Slowly but surely. And I always say, only want the smart ones. The not so smart ones can go elsewhere and get entertained. They watch fishing videos on YouTube and any particular ones from Australia before. And then after that, when I saw that I couldn't really, all they do is show stuff. From time to time, I actually check, what's his name? Uh, I think of the lot, he's actually pretty good because he shares what he's doing. And that is Briggsy. Briggsy is actually really good because he shows what he's doing. While the others are just, you know, they just show that they're catching. And okay. And the truth in catching is very simple, guys. The truth in catching, like even catching big ones, okay? Catching big ones and catching a lot has a lot to do with budget and time. If you have the budget and you have the time, guess what? You're gonna eventually catch a really big one, and you're gonna be catching a lot. That's it. It's just time and money. And anyone with time and money would be able to go out, pick the best dates, best destinations, and then they could catch fish. That's it. Pelagic pursuit, it's subject to opinion. Um, Again, I would choose Briggsy over these guys. Um, always wanted to know what's your stance on Saltiga Stella debate, not only for this year but also in the past. Both reels are good. They're standards. Um, I chose the what do you call this? I chose the Stella because I worked with Shimano, but it doesn't mean to say that I won't use a Saltiga. The biggest problem I had with the Saltigas that I have used was that there was a problem with the mag seal. Okay, but when it was working, it was actually pretty good. So both the Saltiga, I've used also my first jigging, slow jigging reel was a Saltiga. I had to switch over to Osha jigger because of the job with Shimano slash Rapala. So I didn't have a choice there, but I chose a Saltiga over an Osha jigger then. But both reels are good; they're standard and all that. So there's really nothing to talk about. Both of these reels are good. Okay, it just depends on which one which one you're prioritizing. And I always say that the Saltiga would always start out rough, and then it has like a break-in period. I think this is true for most Daiwas actually. They're at their smoothest after you use them for a little bit. Out of the box, the Shimano starts smooth, and then it gets rougher, as the bearings wear down and all of that down the line. But then you switch the bearings, and then it's back to being smooth. But yeah, I mean, they're both good. They're standard. I would actually um, recommend them to everyone. I always say that you choose Daiwa Shimano, you could never go wrong. That's it. Um, Thanks to you, now my skill in trying to own my assist is getting much better. Even I'm proud to share. Yeah. Well, listen, Abdul. All I've done is to show videos. Okay. At the end of the day, you are the one who's doing the hard work. Okay, so as far as that is concerned, I'm very happy that I was able to actually um, you know inspire you to take it on and make stuff on your own. But at the end of the day, I can't take credit because guess what? I'm not the one who's done the work. It's you. So that's all you, my friend. And good going. Do you know why most of the fishing hooks now are made from higher carbon steel and not from stainless? High carbon steel is actually better and stronger. Stainless actually is brittle. It's a brittle type of steel. So if you want strong hooks, it is carbon, not stainless. Stainless shatter. For ebbing, what kind of action you want to put on the rod? Ebbing, I like fast. I use ebbing only on my fast jigging rods. I think ebbing is severely underrated in the West. They don't have a clue of what it is, dude. They don't have a clue of what it is. That's the problem. I think in the States, it was, what was that? Field, who's done it and shown it. Only because he fished and lived in Japan, right? Robert Fields. That's it. But everyone is like so oblivious to what it is. And if it wasn't for him, then, Amazon, John, speaking of assist hook building, it's called assist cord or assist line. Okay, so yes, you can find it on Amazon. Oh, sniper. What's your go-to nut for swivels, plugs, and jig? It depends. Okay, so I use uni nut. Um, I would say use a uni nut. Okay, because a uni nut you could actually tie as a loop or as a what do you call this? So we have Vic Dunaway to thank for that. If you actually Google or not Google, but do a search on my channel for Uninut, and then you'll find like a lot of variations. Shimano warranty in Australia is 10 years, and that is unbeatable. Yeah, but guess what, Ron? The Daiwa service in Australia is unmatched as well. So a lot of people are using Daiwa in Australia, and guess what? I would choose Daiwa if I was in Australia, not Shimano. Never even heard of ebbing here in Texas. Ebbing is something that you should really look at, Big Oof, because guess what? When the times are tough, ebbing works because it's basically a small soft plastic and you know attached to a spreader and a fast jig, and yeah, it freaking works, man. It works. I think I've watched every single assist tying video you've uploaded. I still have to make a few, actually, because I haven't been doing that. Still can't find the magical super glue that doesn't bubble up and whiten. Kareem, okay, the super glue, okay, you have to understand, okay, it's a cyanolite. So cyanolite reacts to the moisture in the air. That's what makes it white. That's what makes it dry. Okay. So what you do is put when you glue it, you put it somewhere where it doesn't get a lot of air movement. If you blow on it and there's a little bit of moisture, it will whiten up because it's drying too fast. So what you do is literally put it where the air don't move. Okay? And if you do that, it'll dry clear. It's not magic. It's literally just housekeeping. Yeah, sniper. I've been using the uni nut because it's actually a very good nut, and it is uh, not a fan of the AG chain nut. I have several versions of the chain nut, and uh, kind of different from the AG chain nut. But the chain nut I use, it's just the starting bit is different. you know um if I have time, I use that on the boat. If I don't, if I'm in a hurry, I'll use a uni knot. No hesitation. you know like take for example, I have to cut like a jig, or change it, definitely change everything. Or even when I'm casting, just cut it, uni knot, bang, done. I don't worry about, like, I'm more worried about being able to cast immediately than actually tying a knot, because guess what? I've caught like some pretty big fish with a uni knot that gives me like a lot of confidence in how I tie it and how good I tie it. You know, I've probably caught more big fish on a uni knot than I have with a chain knot because I've been tying it since I was a kid. So I have super confidence on the knot. Um, you know, it's just a fact. So I'm not too fussed about not being able to tie a chain knot while I'm out in the water. That's why I always tell people, like, dude, just learn how to tie a uni knot properly, because that's it's a very good knot. So yeah, for me, a very good uni knot is going to be a huge asset. By the way, guys, in about 20 minutes, I'm gonna have to switch off because I'm gonna pick my daughter up from school. Or Whitey, just a heads up, just a heads up. So we have about 19 more minutes. So if you have questions, go right ahead. But it might be that I'm going back as well. Just again, just to see who's around, right? So KD just posted some. What is that? Tea. KD and veggies. I love seeing stuff from my friends on Instagram, what they're posting. Sometimes it's kind of funny what they're posting. Studio Ocean Mark has just posted like a fish topwater tails has caught a lot of dorado and some tuna. So what is this? Notomon. Oh, this is his what do you call this? This is his new company. Um yeah. Anyway, so what not what else? I mean, I can't think of any other nut that I use a lot and I could recommend. But the uni is one of those that's very um versatile, you know. And I think what I need to do is actually show you guys um a uni nut that's used for leaders. And this is how Vic Dunaway, the inventor of the uni nut, actually intended for people to use the uni nut when you're attaching leaders. I mean, the uni nut is it's not a knot; it's a system. Um, and if you look around Amazon, there's actually a book called geez, man, what is it? Not something, but it's by Vic Dunaway, and he's literally the guy who invented the uni nut. So there's a lot of nuts in that particular book. But sorry to check previously on Halcyon. Was your impression that it is by a brand Halcyon Systems? Uh, Hector Rojas, hello from Chile. I have a friend who lives there, by the way, in Chile. Lucky Craft 110 is really popular in Los Angeles in the surf. An alternative you could recommend for surfers. Uh, Abdul. Chain knots, only for certain applications. Um, I mean, I use it for jigging and casting, but not for everything. Okay, Mackie, Lucky Craft 110 is really popular here. Alternatives. Um, for what fish? Uh, Lucky Craft. You know what? Oddly enough, I actually learned about Lucky Craft from a Japanese guy who lives in the States. Um, there is a Rapala lure. Although I don't know if it's sold in the States. Um, the let me get it. Fudge. Come on, man. It's tangled with a lot of other lures. So give me a second, okay? Uh, it's in a drawer with other lures, and it's a lot of it tangled. Um, there we go. Yeah. This the Max Wrap. Um, it's there's a smaller one, for this. Actually, really good. It catches like not just the what do you call this? Not just for here we catch kingfish on this, and all sorts of other fish. But try it out, man. Because it's actually really really good. It catches. It was designed for sea bass, but it catches a lot of other fish. Uh, okay, going back to nice day. Halcyon rods. Um, uh, I've only used that like once or twice. So I can't really say that I'm like familiar with them. You know what I mean? So I guess they were all right. You know, but I mean, it doesn't really. It's not mind blowing. Put it that way. What about a Hayabusa or Major Craft Maki jig? I've used these jigs before their release. Um, and I've caught flounder. I've caught barracuda and spangled emperor snapper on them from shore. Do I like them? On the fence with it. I'd rather because I've tried the 10-gram versions, and um, I would rather actually waste my time with the with the Jigpara 10-gram, Jigpara Micro, because I know that works everywhere. So instead of actually throwing around the Maki jig, um, Maki jig more than the Hayabusa, by the way. I use chain knots mostly in jigging, and Rapala not in casting lures like stick bait, poppers, and others. Attaching, you know, uh, most of the time, what I do, Abdul, is do a chain knot and attach it either to a snap or a solid ring that I connect to jigs, snaps when I use lures, or when I need to swap around lures a lot. Um, but I only do a chain knot when I actually have time. So before trips and all that. But when I'm on a boat and I need to cut my chain knot, more than likely I'd be um, if it's a lull in the fishing, then I would tie a chain knot. But if I'm in a hurry to actually cast out, I do a uni knot, and that's it. And so far it's been working for me. I've actually pulled tuna that are quite big with a uni knot, and I've also done it with a chain knot. But I'm confident in my um, what do you call this? In my uni nuts. I have a friend who uses he's South African and he swears by a figure eight, which is like a lower turn uni nut, and it has worked for him even for sharks and stuff. So again, it kind of really depends on how confident you are with the nuts, and I believe that is uh, The rod that I used, Nice Day, it had like Halcyon on it. That's it. So I don't know if it was from Halcyon Systems or whatever, but it had like the mark Halcyon. I didn't really like, a friend of mine just handed it to me and said like, here, use this. What's this? All right, and I used it. But I don't know if it was a brand or not. Um, I know that after I used it, uh, I switched to something else, and didn't really remember much. But if it was really good, if it was really really good, then I would have actually, kind of felt it, but nothing special. So I didn't really take the time to actually check if it's the brand or the model. You know what I mean? um, I think we were fishing here in the shallows, so I'm not too sure if it was like, I mean, honestly, if it was mind blowing, I would have actually like taken the time to check it. So I can't really say, you know. Um, yeah, unfortunately. But if I happened across anyone like another one of those rods, I'll probably pay more attention. But I mean, I stick with the mainstream brands for myself. James Knight. Uh, Can we go into some depth about the special uses of rubber bands? I think it was mentioned in another video. It was on a live, or it was earlier today. JC, what's up? Um, Rubber bands. Okay, so uh, you could use rubber bands as release clips. Okay, so like take for example when you're bottom fishing, no, when you're trolling. Okay, um, you take the line, that actually goes into the water. Yeah, the after your rod tip, you take the line, um, release your reel, uh, or give yourself some line. Put the rubber band on a cleat, right? After you put it on a cleat, it literally stops. It takes the pressure on your line, right? So your reel would have no pressure up until the rubber band. So what you could do is pull some line off of the reel, right? And what happens is that you have loose line before the rubber band, and the rubber band is holding your lure. And then you lock your reel, put it in a strike position or whatever. So when the fish takes the lure or the bait, what happens is that it will encounter slack line, and then it will swallow the lure or the jig, or reposition it, and then literally after a while, because your boat is moving, right? Boom, you have slack line, and then it comes tight, and then it sets the hook. So basically it's a time delay system. You could use it as that. um, on spinning reels you could do the same, but in spinning reels you can actually fish with the bail open, and you're using the rubber band to stop the line from actually exiting the reel. And what happens is you get a perfect drop back. So when you're fishing for sailfish, um, you know it pops the rubber band, and while it's running, it's not going to feel any resistance from the reel, because it's open bail on a spinning reel, right? So it just gives it line, so the sailfish could actually go and run with the bait, and they're notorious for actually mouthing the bait. So when it runs really fast and it stops, close the bail and just start reeling in slowly, and then when it comes tight, you set the hook, and it's boom here. um, Rubber bands can actually help spinning reels also from getting the line unraveled, because you can just tie the end with a knot, a square knot or whatever, and then you can just boom, hold the line in place. Same with some bait casters also. You can just put the line, wrap it around the leg here, and lock it in so it doesn't move around. So yeah, man, I mean, honestly, when it comes to rubber bands, you can your imagination is like your only uh you know honestly, I honestly don't remember how it looks like, dude. It was just a rod. I mean, you know it was a long time ago as well, some time ago. So I couldn't really. I couldn't really remember, even if you sent me a picture. Unfortunately, you know, um, I wish I did. You know, that's just the thing, right? There are some rods that they're not even expensive, and then it just blows your mind. Okay, like um, a very thing that I remember. Okay, uh, and I wasn't working for them yet when I used the Adagio for the first time. It fucking blew my mind, and I couldn't believe that it was a cheap rod. You know, and at that point, a friend of mine actually had like a few Gomoku rods, right, from Singapore, and wasn't really impressed up until I held an Adagio, I used it, and I didn't even remember the name, you know, but it resonated with me. It's like so good. So yeah, you know, one thing I enjoyed was had a competition how you make an FG nut refs. Uh, hot tackle. Ah, that's cool. Do you have any comments about Van Stahl reels? Ah, ah. Um, a friend of mine had a Van Stahl years ago, and it was weird because if you didn't know how to reel it in, the bulge in the middle actually happened, and you know, they're heavy reels. I think um, they're actually very specialized for surf fishing. Again, I can't really comment because I haven't really used it extensively. I used it once or twice, and for the price, I I'd rather buy a Stella, you know, because it's heavy. I understand that if it's in the if you're in a surf setting, they're better because of the sealing that it has. You know, it's literally waterproof and everything. But for my fishing, and for the fishing that we have in this place, um, it's too heavy and it's not too smooth. So for me, I'd rather get a Stella. Now, if I was in a place where, you know, I'd need to reel underwater and stuff, maybe I'd change my mind. But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm not in that kind of environment, so I'll stick with a Stella or a Saltiga. Um, oh, okay. It's a um, how fast you could tie an FG knot with 20 wraps. Okay, have five half hitches. Actually, this was years ago, like a really long time ago, and the how I tie an FG is actually quite different because I start out having the wraps very tight, right? Um, and then I was one of the very first ones to finish it with the risotto wrap. Um, so much so that when Momoy was visiting, and this was either on their way to Europe for the fishing shows or on their way back. I forget which one, but they stopped by Dubai. They actually filmed me when I did the risotto wrap. So my FG ends with a risotto wrap, not with half hitches, and it's cleaner. You know, um, they had to send in a video. That's cool. I mean, um, I believe tackle shops should actually really culture kids. You know, the problem here, you know what? There are some kids here that think they know better. It's just the what do you call this? The local kids, right? Sometimes they like it's so funny because they really like these are like 14, 13, 12 year old kids. They think they know everything. So as much as I want, right? Because I really have a soft spot for kids, you know. But as much as I want, I kind of tend to just stand there, look, and then just sit down and watch. Um, at least for here. I um, I kind of uh, don't actively engage. I mean, outside of YouTube, actually, outside of YouTube and Instagram, in fairness, okay, on Facebook, I don't really interact with people that much. On Instagram, this is where I encourage all of you guys to actually reach out to me. And there I answer questions, I chat. Here with the lives, I do that. I answer your questions and all that. But you know what? Outside of here, even if I'm in the shop, I don't. I actually don't actively speak with people. You know, um, if there are guys that actually approach and say hello and stuff like that, that's fine. It's just that I don't. I'm not the type of guy that would actually rush into someone's side and you know try to teach them stuff. I find that weird. Real Spa, of course, I know Real Spa. Very interesting character. In Rompin, we use about 5 arm lengths of fluoro live bait. Let it drift out with balloons tied to your main. Yeah, 5 fathoms, huh? Right? Yeah. So there's different, like in the Philippines when we fish for sailfish, it's not really with live bait. We use dead bait and we troll for them. Real Spa has a lot of interesting comments, man, and he's a very entertaining guy to watch. I mean, he has his own thing going and all that. Have you seen his videos on your SOM? Of course, man. I don't know what he has with SOM. You know, um, there's stories floating around. I don't wanna join the discussion and shit. He has his own opinion. Um, he has his own opinions. Okay, um, and that's it. It's everybody's entitled to their own opinion, right? So it doesn't matter what he says about SOM. That's his experience and he has every right to say whatever he wants. Uh, so it's up to him. Um, although you can see he's partial to one brand, right? But that's fine. I mean, if he objectively points out that, oh, okay, there's corrosion here, there's all that, it's totally subjective from one person to another, right? So if one person actually takes care of his gear, you're not going to see the corrosion there. But uh, you know, that's that. Calvin, is his name Calvin? I don't know, man. I mean, I finishing up your FG or PR with a risotto wrap is best way to go. I agree. Yeah, I mean, um, I also the same thing, right? My PR is super tight when I start. Um, some people actually tighten only when they do the, what do you call this, but I always start my FG and PR very very tight so I can make them shorter. You know. Anyway, look, he's a good friend of a colleague. I think Fred is good friends with him. I think they went to school together and stuff like that. And you know, I mean, a lot of people trust him, obviously, and that's great. And he works well with reels up to a point where people around the world actually send it to him. Dude, obviously he knows what he's doing. So I mean, if he has an opinion on something, okay, you know, I mean, why would you argue with that? You know what I mean? Like for me, I take care of my own reels, and so far, I haven't had problems with mine. Right? Um, yeah. All right. And then you know there are some, like, take for really it all boils down to how you take care of your reels. So doesn't matter if I'm using a Saltiga and I'm not taking care of it. Obviously, some parts will corrode, right? It's the same thing with SOM or any other reel. You have to know how to take care of your reels. And if you're the type to not take care of it, obviously things are going to break. So if his experience is actually getting stuff from people and some parts corrode, then that's unfortunate, you know. But That's his opinion. So why knock on a guy and he's saying his opinion? And he's, you know, if the reel that he has, it has fittings and all that, if the reel that he has like a defect, a factory inconsistency or whatever, and he's showing it. So yeah, okay, that's very transparent, you know. Uh, yeah, and he expresses himself very colorfully in YouTube. So okay, right? Anyway, it's 11:45 and dismissal is 11:50. The good thing is it's just around the corner. So what I'm gonna do is I will pick her up, and then probably a few minutes after I arrive, I'm gonna go online again and see if you guys are still around. Okay. So that's it for now. Alrighty, I'll see you in about half an hour or so if you guys are still around. But I'm really interested to see actually who's gonna be around then. Alrighty, saving up to buy my first SOM. Yeah, man. I mean, look, I always tell people, and you can verify this. I always tell them like, unless you're looking for more, stick with Daiwa and Shimano. Unless you're really looking for more. And if you're looking for more, you see the specs of SOM, and then if it fits you, then go ahead. And I know that it's awfully strange coming from someone who works with SOM very closely, and I explained it to the president of SOM when he was here, and then he says, "Kit, you're right." Because I told them like, look, if we don't do that, if you encourage a lot of people that are new to fishing to buy SOM, what's going to happen is that they're going to make all their mistakes with SOM, and they'll complain that, oh, this reel is that, this reel is this is real that, But if you give them experience on Daiwa and Shimano, which are standard and built like tanks, right? If you have them build their experience there, and then if they're looking for more, and if they become very technical and they're looking for more, and that's when you say like, hey, you know, because guess what? I said that even if they were doing Shimano and even if they're actually going with Shimano and Daiwa, we can still sell them parts. We have handles, we have what do you call this? We have handles, air eggs for the knobs and stuff like that, right? We have accessories like hook removers and all this. We could still sell them those things. And then later on, if they're looking for more, then let's have a discussion about Shimano. Even the students, my students, the very first reels I tell them to buy are Shimano and Daiwa. I don't tell them to buy SOM, even if they say like, but you're using SOM. It's like, no, go with Shimano and what do you call this? Eventually, they go like, okay, I need more capacity. I need the reels to be lighter. I get what you're saying and all this, and then after that they buy their SOMs. But I never encourage people to buy SOMs as their first reels. If you have the experience and if you're looking for more, then go ahead. Maybe that will suit you. Other people move on to other brands, man. So I'm not forcing anyone to actually go with SOM. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'll be back in a bit. Alrighty, yellow bye.